you ask me what kind of teenage years I live, right, I wouldn't say it's the most wild teenage life, but then again, I wouldn't say it's the most boring teenage life. Alright. Now, before I go on to what are some things I wish I could avoid, I'll just explain to you how I thought my teenage life or secondary school would be like. So when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I thought that my secondary school life would be that I have a lot of friends, I would have a girlfriend, I would go out to a lot of social events, probably do decent in school, and go on a lot of summer and winter vacations. That's what I thought. Because I remember I did used to watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I can't remember which movies are. It was quite some time ago. I will watch how the American high school life is like. I mean, there were middle schools lah, but it's also quite similar to because those are middle school Americans, right? Their last year of middle school at 13 is my first year of secondary school, so I kind of imagine it'd be somewhat like that lah. Then I remember on YouTube I will also sometimes watch movie clips of high school life. I thought that it would be like this, but it was the complete opposite of like my secondary school life. I remember it was the first day of secondary school, January 4th or 5th, 2020. My school teacher, he announced to the class that the first task of you in secondary school is to go around and get to know everybody, your new classmates. Then when everyone did, right, I remember I will only go to 4 or 5 people, or the people that I first observed, and I didn't go to a lot of people at all. I would stick next to my primary school friend, because he and I go to the same secondary school and we end up in the same class. And then this one boy, he came and approached us, and then it was just the 3 of us at the front side of the class while everybody is gathering and asking each other's names. And I think it was writing down as well. I mean, I think you have to write down somebody's the names that you approach. I remember I had less than 5. And because I was a very quiet and reserved kid, right, this continued on for the rest of my secondary school life, and even until tertiary, which is kind of like college lah, I like to say. So because when I first came to secondary school with absolutely no social skills and hardly any friends, I never went out with a lot of my friends, and I definitely went to less than 10 social events. I can confidently tell you that throughout my whole secondary school and college tertiary life. But I'll get to the tertiary life later in the video. It was also because of COVID lockdown now. So it was kind of hard to go everywhere. Everywhere is restricted. You have to be your mask all the time. You have to do some social distancing because you don't want the virus spread to your friends or whoever with you. But I remember, right, at the last year of my secondary school in 2020, right, a group of people from another class, they came to ask me, do you want to go out and eat? I think I don't know how I know that, but I think it was because from one of my classmates who I talked to with. So he was friends with this other kid from different class, these other 2 kids. I think I said no. I didn't want to go out to, because I was kind of scared to go out with people that I barely know of. Then I remember I came home and I told my parents I didn't want to go out, but they were like, why don't you want to go out? I mean, you'll be surprised that my parents were like well, they wanted me to go, but I didn't want to go too. And I kind of regret it, because a couple of hours later I checked my phone. I found out that they were posting stories, and I'm like, damn it, I'm contemplating about my decisions making. Then it happened in secondary school, sec 3, sec 4. I will have all my friends, they will go out to eat. As simple as that. They literally went to do that, and then they will sometimes hang out around the mall after for a couple of hours. Then they will go back home and do their own work or study, but I didn't. Even my own friends, I didn't go out, because at that point of time, I was just too focused on my studies. I barely wanted to go out. And even in secondary school, I mean, then in tertiary, I didn't bother to want to talk to everybody, because I had this mindset of being picky with the people I pick with. And so this caused me my whole entire tertiary to be super, super boring. I didn't even go out to any extra class. None of that shit, man. I didn't even go, bro. And that's why I felt like, man, I look back now, I'm thinking to myself that even secondary school is way better than college, tertiary. And that was because of the first thing I did, which is not talking to everybody. Now, I wish I could go back to my 13-year-old self and tell him that you should go and talk to everybody. Get to know them. Get to know everybody. Once you do that, right, you will be able to find out what kind of people you want to mix with. Because at the end of the day, right, the people you mix with will determine what kind of person you will become. But too bad I didn't. I was very shy. I'm not say shy, quiet and reserved. I was an introvert. I let that introvert get into me. And that's why I got invited to less than 10 social events. Just to let you know, well, everybody has already went out to their first nightclub. Almost everybody. I never even went to a single nightclub. And I'm not saying this to say that, nightclub is a must to go. I'm glorifying it or something. No. It's just to let you know this is the cause of me not talking to everybody and socializing. And the effect is I never go out to any social events. Hardly. I went to less than 10. So because of this, I have less stories to tell. I mean, if I did go out to a lot of social events, I could have definitely have way more stories to tell, because I could have probably encountered a wild thing. That's why you see I ran out of stories to tell. It's because my life is right now it's hella boring. Really. And the second thing, this was let's go back to 2020. So 3 months into going to secondary school, I had to stay at home because of the COVID lockdown. And then one day I happened to scroll on TikTok and saw that this two couple, I've said this a lot of times again, but I'll keep it short and sweet, okay? I watched this couple. I liked their videos because of how I wanted my relationship to be like. And I binge watched their videos. And then I imagined myself having a girlfriend like that. But I didn't have one girlfriend, so I coped with that by binge watching. Then for a moment, I kind of stopped doing that because I had no goals. I mean, the only thing that I was being very serious with was my studies. and I got into playing video games, Call of Duty Mobile. Oh man, I love that video game so much. I used to. I remember I was playing 1, 2, 4 hours every single day, especially on a Friday, Saturday night when I know I have no school and I can just play all night. And I'll literally grind to legendary, and if I don't grind before the end of the season, right, I'll literally watch multiple tutorials and play until I am happy that I'm one step closer to being legendary. And I remember as well, it was closer to, there was this one lucky draw that came out, and it was a female character. The first time when I looked at her in my house, I was like, you know, the heart shape in my two eyes is like that. Oh yeah, so I wanted to do that, but it was a lucky draw, so that means I have a very, very short, I have a 0.01% of getting that character. And so I think I spent like $100 because of that lucky draw. I didn't get the character and I wanted that character. I told my mom, hey, can you please get me the character? She was like, nah, it's not worth it, because you know, the whole draw, I told her the whole draw would cost at least, I think $500 or more than that. She didn't want to, because she think it wasn't worth it. I mean, she was kind enough to give me at least a few more dollars. I think like a few more $100. No, few more, I think $20 to spin again, but I didn't. And so I was really pissed, but I had to move on. And then about a few months later, after the lucky draw was released, right, the battle pass came in, and the the same character that I fall in love with came in the battle pass. I quickly bought that battle pass. Luckily it was like $15, so it was not expensive anyways. And I used that character to pretend like it was my virtual girlfriend. And then I used that character a lot. Then I remember I was also playing with my friends. We will literally play from like 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Then sometimes I'll play in the morning. We'll call each other and then we'll play each other. We're playing rank, we'll play 1v1, we'll literally do like sniper versus sniper, or like assault versus assault rifle, like that. Then in 2022, I've said this a lot of times in my channel, but I'll keep it short and sweet, right? I met this girl, we got close. She first started talking to me because of Mobile Legends. Then we got closer because I play a lot of Mobile Legends with her, and also with my friends because they were also addicted to Mobile Legends at the time. Then about 9 months later, me and this girl, we slowly distanced away from ourselves from each other because of some situation that I'm not gonna say, okay? You can go watch this video if you want to, okay? I explained the whole video, the whole thing right there. And then I stopped playing Mobile Legends because of her. I mean, the only reason why I started playing Mobile Legends is because of her. If she stopped playing, then I stopped playing. Eventually I quit that game forever. And at the same time, I also started to quit Call of Duty Mobile because the game kind of got a bit boring. It's the same old thing again. At the same time, I also happened to scroll on TikTok and saw a video saying something like, if you can grind in video games, you can also grind in real life. And I'm like, oh yeah, damn, that hits hard, I'm gonna try that. So I started going to the gym and train like 5 times a week. I mean, I have been working out, but I got 10x serious into the gym in 2022 itself. And I remember I was training super hard. I was also researching on bulking shakes because I was skinny at the time. I wanted to gain weight. I remember I was looking for other alternative on replacing protein powder because I really wanted protein powder, but I couldn't. You know, in Singapore, they're really very strict with everything. If you're not 16 years old to get the protein powder, they won't sell it to you. So I was like, oh, god damn it. I started to replace. Now I remember I would literally drink the same old shit until I get a protein powder. So this is the second thing that I could have done to make my teenage life better, which is focusing and making more progress in real life. Once I first started doing that in the gym, I started going to other areas of my life, like reading more books, listening to podcasts, and making content. And then doing the whole morning and night routine thingy. I mean, at first to be honest with you, right, I did enjoy the process of like researching and bulking researching the bulking shakes. Because of this, right, I love that I gained over 10 kilos. I went from 50 to 60 kilos. I mean, it's not a lot of progress to some of you maybe, and that's fine, okay? If you think gaining 20 kilos in 1 year is progress to you, then be my guest, okay? But 10 kilos is progress to me, okay? The thing is that if you enjoy the process of making progress in whichever areas in your life, the journey will be way better. When you enjoy it, right, you will love the taste of the results you get. But if you don't, you'll feel like, so I finished making progress in this thing, now what? You don't feel like more motivated to go and find other areas to make progress on. And when you start with one thing at a time, you'll be more motivated to go other parts of your life and make progress in that area. And the third thing, let's go back to 2020 again. So this was also in COVID lockdown. I remember I was scrolling on TikTok and I happened to scroll past by this TikTok page called Visit. Now they posted quite a lot of pages, videos of them exploring the world. I don't know whether they pre-recorded everything and posted before the COVID lockdown, or they actually had the privilege to do it, but that's not my concern. That's not my problem. The thing is that I was scrolling on this video. It was them in Lake Moraine, Canada. Now the moment I saw that video, I was like, the meme, I was like so shocked by how beautiful the lake is, and that made me feel like I want to go to Lake Moraine, Canada so bad. But the problem was that it was COVID. That's okay. After the COVID lockdown came, the other problem was that I had no much money. I wasn't making a lot of, I barely had any money. I was only relying on my parents' allowance itself. Then I stopped that love for wanting to explore Canada and generally the world for like 3 years because I got addicted to playing video games. Then at 17 years old in 2024, I started to scroll more videos of other people exploring different parts of the world. Now I wanted to go there really bad, but the problem was the money itself. I think my mom told me to go and get a part-time job to do it. I mean, I could use that money to literally go and fund my stupid ass hobby. My stupid, expensive hobby, I would say. No, my expensive hobby, I mean. But the problem was that I just feel like it was very stressful. I mean, I've heard stories of my other friends done that, and then I remember one of them told me they broke a chair. I mean, no, not a chair, a plate or something like that. They really stressed. They were really stressed out. I tried to go and find, from my friends, but they all rejected me. Then, finally, in last year, I finally got, all thanks to my very kind classmate, help me get. Now I'm able to use that money to go and fund. But the problem is that I want to go somewhere. I want to have somebody to go with. But I just feel like everybody is like, so busy with their lives. I mean, like, they'll say like, oh, see first. That's the number one BS excuse that anybody can give you. Literally, they'll tell you to give that they'll check the schedule and forget it 2 seconds later. Everybody on the internet have said that you should go alone and travel the world on yourself, but I really disagree, because I feel like when you go travel with somebody, right, you can share the energy with. If, let's say, right, I go and explore this mountain volcano in Indonesia, I'll feel like, oh, so nice. That's it. But let's say I travel with a friend with, right, and say, oh, dude, look at that mountain's insane. I'll be like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's got snow over there. You see what I mean? You can say that I'm coping, and that's fine with me, because I think I am, maybe. But in all seriousness, right, I just really do wish I have somebody to explore with. I mean, I really don't mind having no money and no life at all, and no stories to tell with. I don't mind going to Bali under $1,000. I mean, I could have more stories to tell. I could have said that, oh, you know, I've talked to the locals and I learned more interesting stories, or I go and travel solo. This is what I taught. I mean, I go and travel without my parents. This is what it taught me. Something like that. Or I could have traveled and say, or I could have made a video saying, here are the 3 things that traveling with my friend taught me, something like that. I mean, it can give you educational things and a story to tell. And since I don't really have anyone to go with, right, to holiday with, right. I mean, besides my family, there's no one else I go holiday with. So that's why I'm now taking this time to just slowly go baby step. Since I've never really explored my own city, right, I just thought maybe like it'd be a good time to go and explore, go cycle, go to the beach, go catch a sunset, something like that. I've done that in the past, but not a lot. And now I want to do a lot, so that eventually I'm ready to go and be ambitious, know how it feels like to explore. So yeah, these are the 3 things that if I do these 3 things, right, which is talking to more people, making more progress in life than video games, right, and exploring the world, I think I could have lived a way better teenage life than this one. I'm still I'm grateful to live. Okay, but if I'd done these 3 things, it could be better. If you live a boring teenage life, you're not alone, definitely. But I just want to say one thing now. If you can, go and do what I say in the video, okay? Go and explore the world, go and talk to more people, go and make more progress in your life, alright? Because I can guarantee you, right, if you don't do any at least one of these 3 things, right, don't come crying to me or to yourself and say that, oh, you know, I could have lived a way better life, something like that, blah blah. Oh, you know, my life is so boring, blah blah blah, okay? Do yourself a favor, while you can, do any one of these 3 things, and I can guarantee you, your teenage life will be better. This is what I'm trying to do as well, okay? So, alright, I'll give you more updates, and that's it. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out. Keep pushing, my friend.